What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Motivation with the Beard. I'm your host, Jay, and this is the podcast where we talk about real life, real struggles, and the motivation that we need to keep moving forward, even when life does not go according to plan. So, first off, shout out to everyone who has shared, liked, and subscribed to the channel. Um, we even have some new listeners from Austria and Japan. Welcome. Thank you for joining in. So, today I want to share the story behind one of the most powerful hymns that has ever been written. It is Well with My Soul. Now, you may have heard this hymn in church. You may have heard it at a funeral during a difficult season or at a moment when someone needed comfort. The words are peaceful, but little do we know that they were not written during a peaceful time. They were actually written by a man who was experiencing a level of pain that most of us can hardly imagine. His name was Horatio Spafford. So Horatio, he was this successful lawyer and businessman living in Chicago during the 1800s. And he and his wife Anna, they were devoted Christians and parents of several children. So from the outside, it probably appeared that Horatio had built a secure and successful life. But as we eventually learn, success it does not protect us from suffering. So before the story of this famous hymn began, the Spafford family they had already experienced a heartbreaking loss when their young son died. And then in 1871, if you know anything about the Great Chicago Fire, that occurred and it destroyed large portions of the city and it caused serious financial damage to property in which Horatio had invested. So think about this for a moment. The family they had experienced the loss of a child, financial hardship, and the destruction of property and plans. Horatio had every reason to feel exhausted, to feel discouraged, and uncertain about the future. Yet little did he know there was another tragedy that was still ahead. 2 years later, in 1873, Horatio planned a trip to Europe with his wife and their four daughters. However, because of unexpected business matters, Horatio could not leave with them. So instead, he sent Anna and the girls ahead on a ship, and he planned to follow them later. So imagine standing there and saying goodbye to your family. You would expect to see them again soon, right? You would probably be discussing what you were going to do together once you had arrived. Uh, there would be no reason to believe that this goodbye would be different from any other goodbye. However, during the journey across the Atlantic Ocean, the ship that was carrying Anna and the four daughters, unfortunately, it collided with another vessel, and the ship that they were on sank rapidly. All four of Horatio and Anna Spafford's daughters were lost. Anna, she did survive. After being rescued, she eventually sent Horatio a short and devastating message, letting him know that she had survived alone. Horatio, what he does next is he boards another ship to cross the Atlantic Ocean and join his grieving wife. According to the traditional telling of the story, while his ship was passing near the area where the ship had sunk, Horatio was informed that they were near the place where his daughters had died. So, standing somewhere over that enormous ocean, surrounded by the waters that had taken his children, Horatio began writing. He did not write words of anger. He did not pretend that nothing painful had happened. What he did, though, was that he wrote words acknowledging that life can contain both peace and overwhelming sorrow. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll. Then came the declaration that people still sing today. It is well, it is well with my soul. That is what makes this hymn so powerful. Horatio was not saying that everything happening around him was good. He was not saying that losing his daughters, that it did not hurt. He was not saying that he understood why the tragedy had happened. But what he was saying was that even when life was not well, there could still be a deeper sense of peace within his soul. There's a difference between saying everything is well and saying it is well with my soul. Everything, if you can imagine, everything was not well. His daughters were gone, his wife was grieving, his family had been changed forever. His financial problems, it had not magically disappeared, but somewhere beneath that grief, Horatio still held on to his faith. And that is the first lesson from this story is this. Peace does not require perfect circumstances. Many of us believe that we finally have peace when all of our problems are solved. We may tell ourselves some of these things. I'll be at peace when I have enough money, or I'll be at peace when my family situation improves. Another one could be I'll be at peace when I receive that promotion. I'll be at peace when the medical results come back. Or I'll be at peace when I know how everything is going to work out. But if peace depends on having a problem, free life, none of us will ever experience lasting peace. There will always be another challenge, another uncertainty, or another situation that we cannot completely control. Horatio Spafford's story, it teaches us that peace can exist in the middle of the storm. It does not mean the storm is painless. It means the storm does not have the final authority over your heart. The second lesson, the second lesson is this. Faith and grief, it can exist together. Sometimes people believe that being strong means never crying. It means never questioning and never admitting that something hurts. That's not strength. Real strength is being honest about your pain while refusing to allow that pain to destroy everything you believe. Horatio's hymn, it did not ignore sorrow. He described it as sea billows, which are large, powerful waves rolling over one another. That description is honest. Grief, it often feels like that. One moment you may feel steady, and then the next moment, that next second, boom, another wave hits you. A memory or a conversation, a song, or an empty place at the table, it can bring pain back again. Saying it is well with my soul does not mean that you are not allowed to cry. It means that while you are crying, you still believe that your life has meaning. Your life has meaning, I promise. It means that while you are hurting, you still believe that God is present. It means that while you do not understand the situation, you have not completely surrendered your hope. The third lesson. The third lesson is this. Your pain can eventually become a source of strength for someone else. Horatio, he could not have known how many people would one day sing the words that he wrote. He was writing from a place of personal grief, yet generations later, those words, it continues to comfort people during some of the hardest moments of their lives. His pain became part of a message that helped other people survive their pain. The same can be true for you. The situation that you are currently facing, it may not make sense. You may feel like you are barely getting through it. You may not feel strong. You may not feel inspired. Or you may not feel motivated right now. But guess what? That is okay. You do not have to turn every painful experience into a lesson immediately. Sometimes you simply need to survive that day that is in front of you. But one day, your story may help someone else. For example, the time that you lost your job may allow you to encourage someone facing unemployment. Another example is the time your family struggled may teach you how to support another family. Example number three, the time that you experienced grief may help you sit beside someone who feels completely alone. Or the time that you failed may give you the wisdom to guide someone toward a better decision. Your scars, your scars can become evidence that wounds are capable of healing. They don't disappear, and they do not mean the injury never happened, but they show that the injury did not finish you. And the final lesson is this. Excuse me. Being at peace does not mean giving up. When Horatio said that it was well with his soul, he was not surrendering to hopelessness. He was choosing to keep living and believing that despite what had happened, there are times when motivation is loud. It sounds like cheering, sounds like celebrating, it sounds like setting goals and achieving something great. But sometimes motivation, it is quiet. Sometimes motivation is getting out of the bed when your heart is heavy. Sometimes it's making the phone call that you have been avoiding. Sometimes it's filling out one more application. Sometimes it's going to counseling. Counseling is okay. Go to counseling. Sometimes it is praying even when you do not know what to say. Sometimes it is simply whispering, I am still here and I'm going to take one more step. And that counts. You do not have to feel powerful to make a powerful decision. You can be afraid and still move forward. You can be grieving and still have faith. You can be disappointed and still believe that your future, that it holds meaning. You can have questions and still choose hope. So, as we close today, I want you to think about a situation in your life that currently feels like a storm. Maybe you are facing financial pressure. Maybe you are dealing with a broken relationship. Maybe you are worried about your family. Maybe you are trying to recover from a mistake. Maybe you are carrying grief that other people that they cannot see. Do not pressure yourself to say that everything is fine when it is not. I want you to do this. I want you to be completely honest with yourself. The waves may be high. The winds may be strong. The situation may be unfair. It may be painful. It may be completely outside of your control. But the storm around you does not have to become the storm within you. Take a breath. Focus on the next step instead of trying to solve your entire future today. Remember what you have already survived. Lean on your faith. Accept help from the people who care about you. And remind yourself that this chapter, no matter how painful, is not necessarily the end of your story. Horatio Spafford could not bring back what he had lost. But from the deepest place of his sorrow came words that have carried hope across generations. It is well with my soul. Today, maybe you can't say those words with confidence. Maybe you can only whisper them. And I'm here to tell you that is enough. Peace often begins as a whisper before it becomes something that we truly feel. Keep going, keep believing, keep taking one step at a time. The storm may be part of your story, but it does not have to be the conclusion. So, as always, thank you for listening to Motivation with the Beard. Please, 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 please make sure to subscribe, like, share this podcast with others so that we can get the word out there about this podcast. Motivation with the Beard. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that the beard is coming back. Remember, you may not control every storm that enters your life, but you can decide that the storm will not take your faith, your purpose, or your hope. Until next time, keep your head up, keep your heart strong, and remember, even through troubled times, it can still be well with your soul. Thanks, everybody, and I'll see you next time.